Just think about how can you make these things work for you? How can you reduce the extraneous input that you don't need when you're working? The things that are going to interrupt you. How can you turn them all off so that you can sit down, you can work, and then you can pick and choose what you do outside of your working hours? And I hope that you realize it's come from a place of abundance. It has come from a place of joy because I like the at everyone, but I do use it to my advantage. So I hope you start to use it to your advantage as well. Mentoring with Geraldine is a bite-sized practitioner podcast for naturopaths, nutritionists, herbalists and practitioners, responding directly to the needs of the practicing natural therapist. With interviews, herbal discussions, something business, something clinical, you'll get the variety you need to enjoy and stay motivated and practice. So thanks for joining me today. Don't forget to rate, review and subscribe to the podcast for our episodes. If you'd like more support, get in contact and I look forward to working with you soon. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mentoring with Geraldine and the Bite-Sized Podcast. How the devil are you? So what I want to talk about today, and I'm going to jump right in, is at everyone. So in the groups, of course, we can tag everyone, and that bothers people. And people say, don't use at everyone. Well, I wanted to talk about that because it is annoying. No, it's not actually annoying. What is annoying is you getting the notifications on your phone. And that is something that's actually taking you away from the work you should be doing. We don't need social media sending us notifications. And this is the important learning from that at everyone tag, is that you are not using your resources to your best capacity and to your best ability. Because what you're doing is you're allowing interruptions. So in my working day, I have no notifications, so I can choose when I go to social media. It means that those notifications are only under the notifications tab where it says Geraldine has tagged everyone in Strictly Education, has invited you or something in Strictly Education and Sport or whatever it says for whatever I've done. And the reason for that is it means I can choose whether or not I'm going to go and look at that in that 20 minutes I take at mid-morning to check social media. Now, I check social media because, of course, I work it within groups. I'm in a number of groups and I run a number of groups. Strictly Education and Support is where I give the lives every week, or the majority of weeks. We'll say 95% of the week. Very rare for me not to go on. I do take a break generally over religious holidays, not because I'm religious, but because I'm on holiday. So we have to think to ourselves, what is this doing to me? I am being notified. I'm saying, don't notify me. You're seeing it in groups. People saying, please don't notify me. Please don't tag at everyone. Everyone uses social media differently. And it means it's time for you to renegotiate with you and yourself and your social media, how you're going to interact with it and what you're going to do. And this is part of the process of time, organizing our time, organizing where we want to be, prioritizing our time. And that at everyone is a bit of a catalyst, I think, actually. It's a catalyst for you to go, these are my boundaries. I'm not going to have notifications coming through on my phone. I don't have notifications on my front screen popping up. I have a watch that the only notifications I get on here are text messages from my favorites. So I'm going to go to my phone and then it's almost like having an old Nokia, really, the way I've turned everything off. Because I'm only at my phone when I want to be at my phone. My phone doesn't control me. I control my phone. Now, in saying that, there's some games that I enjoy playing. They certainly don't notify me. There are apps that I really like that I'll go on and I will spend time on. So I've reduced my TikTok time to Sunday evening only because otherwise I could be on there for hours. You just get dragged in. And I watch a lot of political stuff. I find out all the stuff that's going on in the States. All of the wars that are going on, what's going on in different parts of the world. And so it gets really interesting. And so I will stay there. I'll be there for ages. So that's why I have mandated that it will only be on a Sunday evening. And so at everyone, what are you going to do? So I got an at everyone. I was going through my notifications and it said this person had tagged in their group at everyone. And I looked at the group and I thought, I joined this group because you're my friend. I joined this group when there was nobody in it, because if you create a group, you invite everyone you know, because you need a few people in it, don't you, to get the motivation happening, for it to come up on people's feeds, for people to talk about it, and for it to be found when people are searching. I joined that group then. Now, I don't need that group. It's not a group that I ever go into. It's not a group I spend any time participating in. And the group is now really successful. The group has got a big social media following. So it doesn't need me in there. So I left the group. I don't need to be there. But what I'm saying is I want to be in these groups, and I want the @everyone tag when I want it. So I have no notifications. I have all my notifications turned off. My phone has notifications turned off. To turn off the notifications on your phone, you Google it. How do I turn off notifications on Nokia? How do I turn off notifications on my iPhone 3 million? How do I turn off notifications on Samsung? Whatever it is you've got, and it will give you a step-by-step to how to turn off notifications. Because then you choose, you take control. And we need to take control of our time, because time can be swallowed up, just like it's swallowed for me when I'm on TikTok. So I've recognized that. I've compartmentalized that it only gets a certain length of time in my life. Going onto Facebook only has certain lengths of time. I'm on Messenger all the time. I'm chatting to people all the time, but I'm only on Facebook at certain hours of the day. So I'm not going to immediately be replying. I might reply, and then if it's outside of my time, the person hasn't replied back, I close down Facebook, I go away. I might go back later and they've made a follow-up comment. Might be 4, 5, 6 hours later, might be a day later that I'm back on. Because I do enjoy a little bit of addiction. I've got to say, we have to control these things. And social media is one of the things that's actually very easy to control in our lives. Social media can make us all of the feels. We look at something and where we see something on there, we really want it. I don't know, you might be into cars. You see a Maserati. You really want a Maserati. Oh my God, I want a Maserati. And all you're doing is looking up Maseratis. I can't think of a more impractical car, to be perfectly honest. But, well, there's lots of impractical cars, but that, for me, be an impractical car. So I've looked at Maserati. I really want a Maserati. I go through all of the social media. I go to the Maserati office and I stare in the window, and it's what I want. Now, this can be a really positive thing for me, because I might then be working towards getting that Maserati. I'm saving all my money. I'm looking at ways of making money to buy that Maserati, to buy that thing that I want that's in the middle of my vision board. So I only have, not a but, it wasn't a but. The thing is, we only have a certain amount of time in our day. And I want to use that time doing things that I enjoy. I love working. I love doing my podcast. So my podcast editor said, Geraldine, I need another one batched, please, because I'm going away. I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem at all. I'm on the podcast. Here I am. I'll pump this one out because this is something I want to talk about, because we get overrun by social media. It might be the Maserati and you're going, yay, but you might look at it and see someone on there and you think, well, how come they're successful? I'm just as good as they are. Why have they got 1,000 followers and I've got 3? Why is it that they've got perfect skin and I've got pimples this month? And we start questioning ourselves. We start having imposter syndrome. Well, they must be better than me. They're different to you. People are just different. We want to come not from a place of lack, but from a place of abundance. And that is looking at that going, wow, look at her. She's got 1,000 followers. I've got 0 or 1 because I've only just opened my page, and I can reach 1,000 if I start interacting with my audience. I can do that too. Yes, I've got pimples on my chin at the moment, but hey, isn't makeup a wonderful thing? Or working on my liver a little bit more and not eating so much chocolate and drinking alcohol might help too. Who knows why you've got pimples on your chin? The point being is that we need to control these external factors so that we can have a work-life balance, so that we can choose when to be there. And the @everyone tag is totally fine. It's totally okay. And once you remove those notifications always coming up on your phone, once you lessen the amount of pull that social media or these extraneous things have on you, the more time you can choose to listen to my podcast. Leave me a 5-star review. Just slip that in there. The more time you have to choose what you're wanting to do, the fewer interruptions you have, because that's one of the main problems, isn't it? You're doing something and you get interrupted. There's a ping, there's another ping, there's another ping on your phone. So turning off notifications means that you can focus. You can be task oriented. You might want to turn on a timer so that you finish on that task, so that you sit down, you work on those things, and then you come back, the timer goes off and you go, okay, I can go on to the next thing now. Or it will only be 5 more minutes, so I'll set the timer for 5 more minutes, and then I've done this portion, I can take a break, I can go for a walk. Rather than trying to get work done and having that ping, ping, ping on your phone. So having that at everyone, turn it into a positive thing for you, especially if you dislike it. And if you do like it, great. That's even better, because it means that you're using it for a focused purpose. As someone who runs a group, it's a fantastic thing to be able to alert everyone. But at the same time, I don't want to be bothering people. If you've got them on, you need to turn those notifications off, and you need to focus that time. It's really important within our businesses that we dedicate time to the business, dedicate the time to something else like social media, dedicate the time to going outside, looking at the stars, getting ourselves back in the flow so that we really enjoy what we do. And we don't feel bogged under. We don't have imposter syndrome. We don't have comparisonitis going on all the time in social media. And we don't have things pinging at us when we're meant to be doing other things. So use it for the positive. At everyone, what is it doing for you? What do you need to unhook from? What do you need to change so that it's working for you, so that you come at it from, rather than lack, but abundance? I don't use that word abundance very often because I think it's quite abundant really, but it's one of those words. There's a better word there. The greater, the whole, coming at it from completeness, but coming at something from lack and getting upset over something that is just there means let's look at ourselves. What can we change to get more time for us? And that's the thing, isn't it? So when you subscribe to a podcast, you know there's a trick, don't you? So that when you subscribe, you can ask it not to download every episode. So you are still subscribed. So you'll just get the header of it in your podcast list, but you won't necessarily have it download onto your phone. There's lots of little tricks that we can do that will reduce the amount of extraneous matter coming into our brain, of extraneous matter battering at our walls while we try to get that little bit of work-life balance, while we try to get that bit of enjoyment from what we do. So I use the at everyone for people in my groups because it is important. It's great to know when new people have joined, to welcome them. It's great to know when I'm on live because my educational posts are really educational, and #Training Tuesday isn't really on a Tuesday mostly, is it? So it's quite hard to know. I've started the chat on the side in Messenger now, so the group actually has a connection chat so that I can put up when I'm going to be on to make things easier. But let's make these systems work for us. Let's sit down. Does my phone need to ping for all of these things? Can it just have a one sitting on it so that when I sit down for my morning tea, and that's my social media time, I can have a look at it, and there's the notifications are there on Instagram. The notification, the number is there. The number is there on Facebook or whatever, but it doesn't ping on my phone. It doesn't interrupt me, which is what we don't want. So I guess your challenge at the end of this podcast is to have a look at where things are taking you away from what you're doing that can be stopped by leaving the group like I did in one instance, but most of the others just I don't have notifications, so I can pick and choose. And I do choose to go and see those things. I do choose to go and look. So just think about how can you make these things work for you? How can you reduce the extraneous input that you don't need when you're working? The things that are going to interrupt you. How can you turn them all off so that you can sit down, you can work, and then you can pick and choose what you do outside of your working hours? I hope that's been helpful, and I hope that you realize it's come from a place of abundance. It has come from a place of joy because I like the at everyone, but I do use it to my advantage. So I hope you start to use it to your advantage as well. Now enjoy the rest of your week, and I hope you've had a really good Easter. I'm in New Zealand at the moment, so I'll be able to tell you all about that in the group or wherever it is I see you next. So have a good one, and I look forward to catching up with you really soon. See ya. Thanks so much for joining me today. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast for the weekly episodes. If you'd like even more support and learning, then the Academy is for you. Here you'll find part 2 of the herbal discussions, more clinical learning, and case studies to support your clients in practice. Bye for now.